I call this meeting of Central Florida Facilitators to order. We are now off of recess. And if you'll please help me welcome our thought and pledge person for the evening, Charlie Butler.
The forthcoming thought was given to us by William Shakespeare. It's a short quote, but a very powerful quote. And a quote that I try to do every day. And it goes like this. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Will you please stand for the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now please help me welcome our President, Jay Majors.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's wonderful to see you all tonight. Wish we had more of our regular people. I always miss them when they're not here. Let me give a big welcome to our guests, first of all. And if I could have each one of you stand and tell us your name, a little bit about you, and what brought you here tonight.
So my name is Becca Fritz. I came here today because Michann told me a little bit about this group and how much it helped her, and seeing how much I needed to help, she brought me here. But I work with Michann at Luxury Trips. I'm the marketing manager. I started back in October, and every day learn something new. And I love it there. Thanks for having me.
Great. You're officially a guest now.
It's been so long that I'm now a guest again.
Yeah.
But thankfully I still recognize a lot of you. And like Becca said, I really enjoyed this group. And I did get a lot of value out of it, even though I was in here for a super long time. So I'm going to come back, support her, and say hi to everybody again.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Okay. I don't have anything else now other than to remind you about the little slips of paper in front of you. Please give feedback to our speakers, the evaluators and table topics, as well as the main speakers. And don't forget, toward the end of the evening, to vote for most improved. Toni?
You want to talk about officer elections, or you got
that's probably a great idea. We do have officer elections coming up, and the main thing we're trying to do right now is slate a board for the upcoming new term, which starts July the 1st. We hope to have, or plan to have our elections this coming month, but we're going to have the board slated, I'm hoping by next week when we have our EC meeting. So if anybody has anyone they would like to nominate, or if there's anyone who's interested in participating or being an officer for this next term, please let me or Toni know.
Fine. Have you heard anything from Kristen or Richard about them renewing?
No, I haven't. I feel like they're probably not. Just the feel that I get. Yeah. But some of the people you've indicated, I think are going to be good. We just need to fill in a few others. So we can talk about that.
Okay, if somebody can volunteer now.
Yeah, you want to volunteer?
Anyone want to be an officer?
Anybody have any questions about any of the officers?
Any of what the officers do you? Or what the officers?
What positions are needed to be filled?
All 7 offices are open.
All 7.
That they all get elected. I don't know. You had that planned for another meeting to go over that, didn't you?
The roles?
Yeah.
Oh, we should do that. We can do an educational center first.
Yeah, we can do that next week. Okay.
And that will solidify that.
But next week, we will have an EC meeting as well, and I really want to have a slate for,
We have that.
yeah, filled for next week, so the following week, we can bring it to the group, et cetera. Right? Okay.
The schedule that's on my by-election on the 7th, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry,
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
But we want to be able to
We
have,
announced it a week before.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Anything else that we feel like we want to talk about before we jump in?
Anything for the conference, Madam Division?
kind of late now.
Yeah. I'll be there if you need me to.
Don't let any of us who are going forget the banners. We need to get those.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then I would like to introduce our beautiful, wonderful, very sweet, mothering, caring Toastmaster for the evening, Susan Morgan.
Thank you. Thank all of you for being here tonight. We are working on membership building. Woo, it's going to be fun. And also, if you noticed on our Easy Speak, they were talking about superheroes of membership building, and that's kind of what we're all doing. But my superheroes have hard hats and our team members. So let's start with that. I want to go over our agenda for the evening because we have a few changes. The first change is going to be our Wizard of Oz is going to be Jessica Guthrie instead of Roy Wittig. He had family emergency. And our Supervisor of Elections is going to be Toni Giddles. And also under our prepared speeches, instead of icebreaker for a title, it is the Riverman. So you can write that down and we'll be hearing more about that in a little while. Other than that, everything else looks pretty on time and on schedule. Is there going to be an educational moment?
Oh, I don't know. Is there an educational moment tonight?
There is.
There is. Okay, now with that, I will introduce our educational speaker, Gail Hill-Smith.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'll make this 2 to 3 minutes for our timer. Tonight I wanted to address dues in Central Florida Facilitators. We had an increase at the international level back fall. And our Toastmasters International dues went from, I think it was 36 to 45. Our club dues went from 9 to 12. Bring that to your attention because there's been some confusion as our guests who have joined us recently, there's been a slight mix-up. So we wanted to get that real clear with everybody because anybody can process an application. Anybody can help a prospective member fill out the application, but we wanted to get clear on the dues. As all of you know, these dues are prorated. Toastmasters collects dues every 6 months. Because of that, you have a sliding scale. The October-April timeframe, if you were to join or renew your dues, Toastmasters International is $45 and our club dues are $12. The next month of November and May, then it slides down to $37.50 for our international dues and $10 for our local dues, so on and so forth. So depending on when you come in is what your dues are. New members, you have a one-time application process fee of $20. From that point, you receive 2 manuals. You receive the communication manual and you receive the basic leadership manual in the mail from which you start. After that, that's about it for the dues, other than every...
Club new member fee.
And the club new member fee. That is $5? Okay. And that is collected one time? Right, because new member. Now, for Michann, who is, I know is gonna renew.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
I really hope I can find that dog.
There will be no first-time membership fee because you already have a member, you already have a established number with Toastmasters International. However, we would collect, if it was this month of May, then it would be $37.50 for Toastmasters International and then $10 for our club dues, or $47.50. And it's a bargain. It is a bargain.
If you're new, you have to pay the minimum.
Right, so for Michann, that $20 fee would not be applicable. However, when Becca submits her application, $20 would be in addition to your dues. 25. With that said, oh, and there's more, yes. Toni and Stephen helped out here, printed up a club application for us to include the international dues as well as our club dues. You have 30
Yes, I've noticed that the forms aren't being filled out completely. So most of the first page has to do with contact information, which is important, and it's important that you review it and that we can read it. So please, if you're helping fill out an application, make sure that it's legible. The other thing is the dues, and at the bottom there's a little worksheet to fill out the dues, and that should be completed as well, because that makes sure that you've covered the new member fees, the club dues, and you total it up. And then that should match the check that is written to the club, which did not happen last time. Also, on the top left, it says membership type. So, Michann, you would be reinstated as a member. Most of the people will be new members. Some might be dual members, a member of another club, as well as a member of this club. And some could be transferring for another club.
as was the case with Matthew.
Yeah, oh, that's right. And the second and third page also have places to fill out and to sign. So please be sure as an officer, you sign it, as an applicant, that is signed as well. And I did want to ask a question about payment information. We are not taking credit cards, or are we? We can now. But do we take all of these? MasterCard, Visa, Amex, and Discover? I don't think so.
No.
No, so MasterCard and Visa. And we will take a check or money order. And there is a place to check the boxes.
Too, I believe.
And
We have to swear.
we need to process that, I think. Okay, but completely read the application, completely fill it out. That's the job of our members to make sure the application is completed. If you have any questions while you're helping a member join, then ask somebody, because somebody will have the answer. And I will be asking you because I always forget.
Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, so let's get moving with this program. First, I want to start off with tonight is the benefits of a Toastmasters membership. So, because before we can start building up what we want, we have to know what the benefits are for our guests and our members. Participation is a unique and proven program for developing your communication and leadership skills. a positive and supportive atmosphere in a community of learners, the opportunity to find your voice while learning to tell your story with confidence, regular and constructive feedback from other learners as you practice organizing your thoughts and presenting them clearly, experience in leadership development through training and club involvement, unlimited opportunities for personal and professional growth, access to a wealth of educational materials and resources on public speaking, listening skills, meeting protocol, the use of technology in presentations, and effective communication in conferences and meetings. And there is also a free subscription to the Toastmaster Monthly magazine that provides insights on communication, leadership, club activities, and other relevant topics. I will be telling you more about what you gain, what benefits you gain after we go along with our next portion of the meeting, which is our prepared speeches. Oh no, it's our functionaries first. Thank you. The first thing I need to do is to go over the people that will be helping us this evening. And the first one is our grammarian. Please help me welcome Steve Morgan. Tell us what you're doing.
For the benefit of our guests in particular, as grammarian, I am to be expanding your vocabulary. Therefore, you have a word of the day on the table. You have an example of it right there. Word neologism. It's the word neologism. You should really know this word well to be helpful. The word means, it's a noun, it is a new word, meaning, usage, or phrase. It can also be the introduction or use of new words or new senses of existing words. And one of the examples given there is one neologism you will often hear at our club is the word speecher. Seems to be used fairly often.
Indeed.
A word is a neologism before it becomes an actual word entered into the dictionary. It's when it gets used frequently enough that the dictionaries finally adopt it. I will also be using my hearing skills to catch the use of the English language, taking note of interesting and perhaps not so interesting uses to report during the general evaluation at the end of the meeting. Those of you who are members and have given your icebreaker, find a way to fit the word in or pay the 25-cent fine. Eat our money.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. And our next functionary, we're going to start with our Wizard of Oz. Miss Jessica, will you tell us what you'll be doing this evening?
My job is to keep track of audible crutches, such as and double clutches. Some of you, double clutch may be a neologism, so let me define what that means. It is the repetition of a word while the speaker searches for their next thought. A stutter, if you will. I will also note sentences strung together with bridge words like and or so, and I will sound a buzzer when any of these infractions occur. The fine for each infraction is 10 cents. Guests and members who have not done their icebreaker will not be buzzed or fined, but I will keep track of your infractions so you're aware of your progress. Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Is Jay Majors. What are you going to be doing tonight?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. One of the skills Toastmasters practice is expressing a thought within a specific time. That may be a neologism for you as well. As timer, I am responsible for monitoring time for each speaker in each meeting segment. I will operate the timing signal indicating to each speaker how long he or she has been speaking. For our prepared speeches to qualify for voting, the speakers must speak not less than 30 seconds under the minimum time range. So for the 5 to 7, that would be 4.5 minutes. And not more than 30 seconds over, so that would be 7.5 minutes. For the table topics speakers, the time is standard for 2 minutes, so 1 minute to 2 minutes. So you would have to speak for the 1 minute, and no more than 30 seconds over the 2 minutes, so 2.5 minutes. And then for the evaluators, it's 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, so 1.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes is when the light would go on. Red is at maximum of your range, yellow is at minimum range, and the green light is to let you know you're beginning to hit that place. So that's it.
Thank you. Our Supervisor of Elections this evening, Toni Gittles.
These are your ballots and your comment sheets. I will be collecting the ballots for best speaker, best table topics, speaker, best evaluator, and most improved speaker. Because there's not a separate ballot for most improved, just write me a note on one of the other sections. Please note that all members that have a speaking role are eligible for the most improved award. They do not have to have a major role in order to be considered. I'll tally the results, the award results. I will give those to our president at the end of the meeting. I'll also be picking up comments. Please write comments to not just the speakers, but to any of the members that you feel you would like to acknowledge or give suggestions to this evening. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, so some of the share the benefits you gain. This is what you can share with your fellow members. Assisting fellow members in developing their communication and leadership skills while you develop your own. Helping your group maintain the Toastmasters standard of excellence in all projects and programs. Providing leadership in your club, whether performing meeting roles, assisting on committees, or serving as an officer. Telling other people about the value of Toastmasters and inviting guests to the clubs and meetings. Representing Toastmasters brand in everyday business, social, and community situations, and making the Toastmasters experience for yourself as well as others as an enjoyable and worthwhile proposition. And those are some things that you can do with our Toastmaster stuff. It's fun. It's fun. Now it is my time to start on our prepared speeches. Yes, Charlie?
I see here Matthew Salazar that you have it as an icebreaker, but he's actually doing his second speech.
Yes, he is doing his second speech. The speech is called The Riverman, and he'll be doing his speech number 2. Did he give you your book, his book?
Yes.
Okay, good. And it is 5 to 7 minutes?
Yes.
Yes, okay, just making sure. So, please, everyone, help me welcome one of our newest members to come and give his speech, teaching us a little bit about who he is, I think. The Riverman. Please help me welcome Matthew Salazar.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to give an introduction of myself. My name is Matthew Salazar. I was born in Orlando, Florida at Arnold Palmer Hospital. I've grown up in Altamont Springs, where our club is located. I attended the Catholic Church, St. Mary Magdalene, down the road. And through my school years, I participated in many sports such as track, soccer, volleyball, and basketball. I continue to play volleyball as much as I can on the evenings. In grade school, I joined Scouts and worked my way up to the rank of Eagle Scout, which I accomplished in 2011 of August. And participating in Scouts has helped me to grow an appreciation for the outdoors. And, some of my most memorable camping trips as a Boy Scout was driving to North Carolina along the Tennessee border. And particularly, we would go mountain biking and whitewater rafting in the mountains near Bryson City, North Carolina. On one of my last scouting trips, we took a whitewater rafting trip in Tennessee on the Ocoee River. This trip was unique because I had some of my closest friends and Scouts who have grown up with me in Scouts along for the trip. This river was a site for the kayaking events for the Atlanta 1996 Olympics on the Ocoee River in Tennessee. Before you get on the river, the outfitters give you a brief description of what to do while on the river. Speaking as experts on the topic of floating down the river, the outfitters mentioned that the businessman they admired the most was Noah because while everybody else was being liquidated, he kept his stock afloat. After the demonstration, we picked out a helmet, life jacket, and a paddle. Then we continued on our way on a school bus with the rafts floated above down a winding and narrow mountain road. Along the way, at some points of the gravel road, I questioned whether the bus was going to stay on the road. When you get to the drop-off point, we helped carry the raft to the river, and once we got the boat in the water, it was important to jam your feet in the pockets on the floor of the boat so you stay in the boat, because you can't really hold on, you have to hold the paddle the whole time. And when paddling on the raft, the proper technique was to sit on the edge of the boat and paddle outward and forward. On this rafting trip, my fellow paddlers included Andrew, Chris, their dad, Mr. Bond, and Mo, Paul, Sean, and one guide who gave us directions during our trip. My rowing mates and I made it through all the rapids, including class 3s, 4s, and 5s along the route where the 1996 Olympics was held. And after the main rapids of the river trip, we got to float for a little while and swim in the water as a little breather before the end of the river. After we got a little break at the end of the trip, we had to get back in the boat, and there's still just a few small rapids to go through. And when we approached what might have been the smallest rapid on the river, the boat was positioned a little bit sideways, and one of my fellow paddlers, particularly Andrew Bond, fell out of the boat and began to float away a little bit. And for being one of the smallest rapids, nobody expected him to fall out at that time. Chris, his brother, and his dad tried to use a paddle to pull him back in, but that did not help right away. When a little bit down the river, when we had the chance, I was the closest to Andrew, and so when I had the chance, I grabbed him by the two shoulder straps on his life jacket, and with all my might, I pulled him out of the water and into the boat. And once Andrew was back in the boat, he described my action as going Super Saiyan, as they would have said in Dragon Ball Z, because he was a big fan of the Dragon Ball Z and cartoons. And for myself, I have not watched Dragon Ball Z a whole lot. The term Super Saiyan was neologism. At the end of this trip, we realized no matter how big or small the rapid is, you should always remain focused and prepared by not floating sideways if possible. In life, we need to be prepared for what lies ahead and not get caught going sideways. Thank you.
Great job, Matthew. And if I can have 1 minute on the clock. Okay. So what can we do as a club and as members of our club to build our club? Now, there are a lot of ideas. I just printed this off the internet today. Hundreds of membership building ideas to get more guests. Well, one of the first things is to put out flyers. Well, okay, we know that. Put out some flyers around. Some flowers too, maybe. That might help. But you can put them on bulletin boards, in libraries, coffee shops, colleges, churches, retirement centers, grocery stores, restaurants, recreational centers, doctor's offices, dentist office, movie theaters, grocery stores. There are just so many places that you can, beauty salons, airport. Just bring a brochure with the club name and when they meet on it and put it down in your doctor's office or put it in the business that you just walked in, just like what Jay has. Or you can have a Toastmaster magazine with the same information on it and just set it in your doctor's office. They have magazines there all the time, and they might look at that and people will find the benefits of Toastmaster membership. And now it is my turn to start with our second speaker. Our next speaker agrees with this quote from a superhero. "The greatest power on earth is the magnificent power we all possess. the power of the human brain. Using this power, we can all do incredible things and become a superhero in our workplace, in our family, and in our community. All things are possible when we believe. We also need to guard ourselves from threats of a silent killer that is present in our daily lives. Who is this silent killer? What is he talking about? We might find out in his speech. So please help me welcome Pardeep Jindal.
The year was 2001, and the population of great reef frogs in American lakes was being decimated. The consensus was it was a pesticide, cabaril, that was present in these lakes in large quantities. So the public demanded that the production of this pesticide be stopped immediately. Madam Toastmaster and dear friends, it looked like a very simple story, isn't it? The interesting thing is, the manufacturers insisted that this pesticide was not really killing the frogs. They had a ton of studies and evidence showing that the pesticide was not harmful to frogs. So what they did was, they took these little creatures out of their lake homes and put them in the lab and had them exposed to the pesticide, so nothing really happened. But frogs were still dying. So what was going on? And who was the silent killer of these frogs? Do we think it was Charlie? No, he's a good man. Those frogs. So in order to find out, a biochemical researcher from University of Petersburg did some advanced research, and here's what he found. As expected by manufacturers, this pesticide was innocent to the frogs, meaning it was not killing them, at least in the lab setting. But the fact is, the frogs don't live in lab. They live in the wild, where they have a constant threat from the predators. And whenever frogs smell this threat from predators, they secrete a very powerful stress hormone. And this is the same hormone that you and I secrete when we are trying to meet a deadline, or when our ancestors were running away from lions or life-threatening events. So expose a stressed out frog to this pesticide, and boom, you got a dead frog. So neither the pesticide nor the stress hormones were killing the frogs, but a deadly combination of these two. And that's exactly what happens to human body. According to American Psychology Association, the silent killer, the stress, is linked to the top 6 killer diseases in the world, starting from cancer to the heart disease. Let's quickly talk about a couple of things it does to our body. If you want to age faster, make stress your friend. Because stress hormones, they shorten the telomeres, which is the protective cap on the chromosomes. And with this shortening, your cells age faster and they die younger. So at age 40, you would look like 80. Stress hormones also promote the hardening of arteries. And if you or someone else you know has diabetes, it's bad news because stress increases your blood sugar. Let's talk about effect on brain, because continuous stress hormones, cortisol and others, they damage your brain tissue, mostly in the area of the brain they call hippocampus, which is responsible for thinking and cognitive behavior. What else? Anybody in the group is looking to add more fat around their middle section? Make stress your friend again. Because that's exactly what stress does to your body. It adds fat around the midsection. So something to consider as we go through our day-to-day life, because this silent killer has a lot of impact on the quality of our life. So what can we do about it? There are hundreds of things that we cannot obviously talk about in this 5 to 7 minutes, But couple of things that come to my mind: meditation. What they say is daily meditation can alter the neural pathways in our brain that would make you more resilient to stress. The second one in my list is deep breathing, because it helps you calm down by bringing down your blood pressure and slowing down your heart rate. What else? Exercise. Any form of exercise that you like. Swimming, cardiovascular, dance, brisk walking, everything would produce more endorphins in your brain that would cut down your stress. Laugh more often. A good belly laugh, not a huge belly laugh, a good belly laugh would more than likely reduce your stress hormone and would also increase the endorphins that we all need. And try to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It's easier said than done, but a good night's sleep, a better diet, and a good rest would help you cut down your stress. And last but not the least, reach out. Because a social network is probably one of the best tools we have to cut down on stress. How many times it has happened to you? You are stressed out, maybe because of Steven, you talk to someone and you start feeling better. Your stress hormones come down. And I would just conclude by sharing that this silent killer, we really cannot eliminate it completely from our lives. But if we are aware of the damage that it does to each one of us, and if we take little steps like we talked about, we can really make a huge impact in our day-to-day life. And we all can be superheroes if we take good care of this silent killer, and like Jonathan would have said, how to be a better version of yourself. So I really believe if we take care of some of these silent killers, and this is not the only one, we can really be a better version of ourselves. Thank you.
If we could have 1 minute on the clock, please, for everyone to write their little notes to Pardeep. Thank you very much. And can we get a timers report for our timers, or speechers? What is it? My neologians.
All right, the first thing I have to do is confess. I didn't have this thing rolling like it should have been, but I do know what time you started, Matthew, and what overall time you ended, so you definitely qualified, and you qualified anyway because I wasn't doing my job. Now, with Pardeep, you spoke for 6 minutes and 12 seconds, so you definitely qualified. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so what else can we do? What about those tear-off flyers, where you have a flyer and you have a phone number on the edge and they just tear that piece off? That's something we can do. That's easy. Get into the spirit of things and invite congregation members from your church letting them know that in order to share their spiritual message, nothing beats improving their communication skills. And what about, let's give the gift of confidence to someone you know. For a holiday or a birthday, create your own gift certificate that members can purchase to prepaid dues at a gift for whomever they choose. This works well for graduates, family members, friends, and someone low on funds. After 6 months, they fall in love with the value of Toastmasters and they'll continue their membership from there. But they'll thank you for a lifetime for the door you've opened. And one other thing really quick before we move on to our next portion of our meeting, recycle your magazines. Like I said before, use those magazines, take them to the doctor's office, to wherever you happen to be. Stephen and I will be camping this summer for a little while. Maybe we'll put it at the campground or something. We've got lots of magazines we can do that with. So those are some of those ideas. Our table topics master tonight absolutely loves being a member of Toastmasters. She first joined this organization in 1978 until 1982. During that time, she served in all officer roles and as the assistant area governor. Then life, career, and family interrupted her memberships for the next 21 years. But in 2003, she was approached by Tim Chastain to help charter a new Toastmaster club. She took the challenge and never looked back. She has maintained her membership in Central Florida Facilitators since its inception in 2003. She has served in all officer roles except Sergeant at Arms, served as an area governor, an area director, and currently the Division D assistant governor or assistant director, and now a candidate for the Division D director, which we're looking forward to. The communication and leadership tracks of Toastmasters International has afforded her more opportunities to speak and lead than she ever imagined. Consider a weekly meeting has cost her about $1.68. Gail feels she has more than quadruple tonight. My goodness. For her return on investment. So please help welcome the charter member of Central Florida Facilitators as our table topics master, Gail Hill-Smith. Thank you. I might be able to get it out. Today or tomorrow, maybe.
I didn't realize my introduction would introduce new neologisms for you.
Yes, definitely.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
What am I going to do this evening as your table topic master? I'm going to put you in the hot spot. I'm going to make you a little uncomfortable. Possibly. Rather, I'm using the theme that Susan came up with membership, building membership. Topics will be around that. We typically don't pick people that have a major role on the agenda, and I won't. However, I think that our speakers are fair game tonight. Pardeep, Matthew, be ready. And our guests, Michann and Becca. Do you feel you might want to partake after you see a little demonstration? There. Okay. You will be speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. Our timer will keep you on track. And in a table topic, just as you might surmise, it is a mini speech. You have an opening, your body, and your conclusion. And if you want to use dramatic gestures, do. If you want to use dramatic vocal variety, do. That's what we're all about practicing. Let's get going. As we know, when we have a large membership, we have a large club. When you build membership, you build this club. When you're trying to recruit new members for this not-for-profit, Toastmasters, give us 2 to 3 or 4 ways you approach a prospective member when in a public area, such as a shopping center, a library, grocery store, or workplace. Toni Giddles.
I often wear my Toastmaster badge, and I talk to a lot of people at the grocery store. I'm not doing a lot of networking now, so when I go shopping, that's where I'm meeting people. And it opens the conversation because people notice the badge and they start the conversation and they say, "What's Toastmasters?" I get an opportunity to tell them how enthusiastic I am about Toastmasters, public speaking, being more comfortable in social situations. I try not to use any neologisms that they won't understand. And I also tell stories about how my mother was a Toastmaster and how anybody can benefit from coming to the club. In addition, if people are looking for a social environment, a friendly, supportive environment where they can succeed as well as fail, try out new ideas, learn to express themselves, find their voice, this is a great place. We had a guest at one of my other clubs the other day, a young student who was 17 years old, and he remarked that this was the most amazing place he had ever been to, and that he never found so far in his life an environment that felt so comfortable and safe. He did table topics. He really had a great time, and he's going to come back. His father, who was a former Toastmaster, introduced him and brought him to the club because he knew it would benefit him. So it's fun to meet new people, I encourage people to spend some time here and not just come and finish a couple speeches and then move on, because one of the benefits, the lasting and lifelong benefits, has been friendships that I've made at this club. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Toni. You see our membership possibly waning and waxing in participation and attendance. What suggestions might you offer to booster that participation and attendance? Jessica Guthrie.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. What ideas do I have to help boost attendance? As a guilty party who has to miss quite frequently, I feel a little guilty about answering this question. However, I do come whenever I can, myself personally. And the reason I do come is when we have exciting programs. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we can do in order to create that excitement, is really ensuring that we have a very positive program, which we typically do have a very positive program, that it runs very smoothly, and that a lot of times the themes, I feel, really help drive that forward. And if we can advertise those themes in advance, that really helps us as well. And if we focus on things that are around professional development in particular, which a lot of Toastmasters is about improving our communication and leadership skills, but focus themes around professional development ideas, that really would reach out to the more corporate community and get them a little bit more involved. So I think there's that opportunity to really make sure that we're attracting new members by making sure that our programs, but also maintaining and keeping our people interested in coming as well. I think there's also some elements of mentoring and coaching that we need to involve in that as well. I think the better feedback people get, the more opportunity they have to hear the different ideas that we have, and we've done some really interesting meetings around evaluate the evaluator, so that they have an opportunity to evaluate how well someone is doing an evaluation job, or even to do round robin evaluations occasionally. I think that kind of gives it a new opportunity. And then lastly, bringing in people from other clubs to speak as well. We do that a lot during the contest season, so people can practice their speeches teaches, but it also brings a little bit new lifeblood into the group and really encourages other people. So those are some of the suggestions I have at Table Topics Master.
Toastmasters has numerous tools to advance this whole organization. Susan cited the one publication that was produced in our own district, hundreds of membership building ideas. There are literally 212 listed. Can we do all of them? Of course not. However, they stimulate a lot of creative ideas. If you were to select any of the existing tools, what might you use to invite a invite a prospective member to a club? Michann, would you like to address this?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. So the question was different ideas of how to utilize the different ideas in getting members to speak. I don't know if we have a Facebook page, and maybe that's for more of my generation, but I think it would be helpful to reach out to people. It's a very easy way to stay in communication. It's something that I think a lot of people have on their phones that they're with them all the time. Or something like leaving flyers at places. I feel like a lot of times they get lost or they get bent and wrinkled and people end up wanting to throw them away. That's something that would have a bigger shelf life, I feel like, and I think it could reach a wider audience. I don't know if we still have the meetup page as well, but that would be something kind of along the same lines. I'm trying to think of something similar to that.
What prompted you to invite Becca this evening?
Something I really admire about Becca is that she always wants to find ways to improve herself, and because of that, I think she's using a lot of different things. And it's almost hard to find ways for her to improve just because she's always on top of everything that she does. But that was one thing that from my experience that I had done that I thought could help her grow even more. And like I said, I love this group. It's been super helpful for me. So just talking to people that, and being aware of ways that they may be looking to improve themselves.
Good. You have some great ideas to make our weekly Toastmaster meetings be it more educational, more fun, more informative. What more can you suggest for our meetings? Stephen Morgan.
Madam Table Topics Master, the suggestions when you come to me, I'm going to go back to what has worked in the past. When I've had the president's role, I did it at Omni, I did it here, and that was giving the theme to the entire year. And the first time I had gone through each of those, I had given the theme of substance with spice. The key I had gone with is that each of the meetings, we want to have the important pieces of substance, the things that we walk away with, learning and education, the feedback, that's what we want. But the spice is what makes it interesting. That's the reason that people are actually going to bother coming back. Certainly it's nice to be able to come in and say, we've learned something, and I've discovered something new, I've gotten a little bit of information from one speaker, I've gotten a chance to get up and present and gotten feedback back. But I can do that at any club, any of the Toastmasters clubs. It's a little bit different if you add something interesting. If it's going to be a theme, we've had more than a few who have picked up and come in costume for themes. And I'm remembering Jorge in his banana costume at the moment, I'm afraid. That certainly added spice to that meeting, I'm afraid. It's stuck out. And that was years ago, and it still sticks out. There is a reason that I thought about it that way. I took it the other route of every so often change the meeting up, whether it's the Evaluate the Evaluators or all table topics, the backwards meetings, and of course our contests. But there's a reason that I had pushed it there, because you want everyone engaged, you want everyone thinking creatively, you want everyone to get the idea that when that time comes around each week, it's not, oh, I should go there. It's, I want to go there. That's the best part of the day, maybe the week. And that's when it gets interesting. That's when people get engaged. That's when they want to come back. That's when they just start naturally pulling people in. You don't have to think about it. They're just talking about it. They're saying, please come with me. Those are the ideas that I suggest. And there are many possible ways to address it, but at the very least, make it memorable, make it fun, make it feel like something worth coming to over anything else you might have to do.
How about our time?
I think we still have one more.
One more?
One more.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you. What does this club, in your estimation, do that you think is great? And what do you think can be done to make it better? Pardeep.
Thank you for the question, Madam Toastmaster. Before becoming a member of this club, I had visited many other clubs, and what I really found interesting about this club was the people, all of you, the kind of speakers we have, the kind of friendly attitude we have towards the new guests. That's what brought me here. So I personally think the biggest asset of this club is Toni's and Morgan's and Gail's and Guthrie's and Jay's. That's what makes us unique. And whosoever I've talked to at my workplace or in my community, I have told them, even like one of the guests that came here, her husband is a member of some other club from a long time. But I was like, look, give it a try. Come to this club and you see the difference. So I believe our people, our members are the biggest asset of this club. Coming to what can we do better, I think each one of us, not only the officers or VPs, each one of us has a big role in terms of making it a better club. And one of the things I was sharing with you that I have done in my workplace, I propose to my leadership that we do a brief survey, reaches out to everybody, asking them, if you were in charge, what one change would you make to make this department or a club a better place? We all have these many ideas, but they all remain amongst us. We never share it, and then we expect that all of a sudden something would change. But until we really take a step to tell, hey, this is good, this is what we should do, it doesn't get done. So I believe maybe reaching out to everybody with a survey, asking what changes would you recommend, and some of them would be valid, some of them may not be valid, but that's what I would recommend.
Great, thank you. We can have our timers report on our topics, please. Jay?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Okay, Toni Gill, speaking on membership. How do you talk to people in public or at the workplace? 2 minutes and 6 seconds, she qualifies. Jessica Guthrie, speaking on how to stimulate the attendance and how to make that better. 1 minute, 49 seconds, she qualifies. Michann, ideas of, to invite new guests or members as the tools that we use. What tools would you use? 1 minute, 38 seconds, she qualifies. Stephen, making it more interesting. 2 minutes and 15 seconds, he qualifies. Pardeep Jindal, the assets of the club and how to make it better. 1 minute, 51 seconds, he qualifies.
Great. Everybody qualifies. And we will return control to our Toastmaster, Susan.
Thank you. Since we are running a little bit late on time, I'm not going to go through too many more of these, but I do want to mention one that Toni alluded to a little bit. One of my other club members, and who is a district officer, wears his badge out, but he wears it upside down. So someone comes up to him and says, your badge is upside down. He says, hi, I'm Bob from Toastmasters. Can I tell you about Toastmasters? And that's a real funny one, and it's fun, and it's very effective. So you might think of doing that. If you don't have a Toastmaster badge, come in, get into our club and give your 10 speeches, and you'll get one. So our next portion of our meeting is our evaluations. Stephen is bemoaning the recent failure of his video camera. I can attest to this. Though it has served mightily well for 2 Toastmaster clubs, several family events, and many basketball games over the past few years, it may have finally reached its inevitable demise. Onward we must go, for there is feedback yet to be given, and leading the charge is our General Evaluator, Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Stephen Morgan.
Becca, I don't know how much you've been told as of yet. This is the part where some people panic because they're going to hear things that they might have to work on. We're here to get feedback, to learn and grow. That's also the things that we have done well, but also the things we might have suggestions to try differently to improve. And we begin first with the evaluations of the prepared speeches. Each speaker in their speech has an evaluator assigned. Our first speech was from Matthew Salazar, and he's evaluator today. Our next evaluator is licking his chops to have the opportunity of destroying the next speaker's speech. That wasn't intentional. Okay, he won't do that, but is looking forward to perhaps enhancing the speech with a couple of tips and pointing out the good points. Please help me welcome our next evaluator, Charlie Bombadillo.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, and of course Matthew. You should be sitting over here, Matthew, because this is going to be really hard for you. Your story was interesting. I really like the humor that you inserted in your story several times. That's very hard to do for a new beginner. I was impressed that you used Neo-Buddhism, word of the day. That was very good for you. I like the fact that you used very little notes. You just glance down once in a while. That's a good part. Here's the bad part. You come here. I don't want to see your butt. I want to see your face. Maybe the girls do, but I don't. So always be prepared. Have your laptop. You're allowed to have your laptop here. You can have it just ready and hit the button, and away you go. Never start your speech with. It's not that it's bad. It's just blah. Good evening. Give me something to absorb. Give me. Did you know that I'm a riverman? I'm going to perk up and say, oh, what's this guy going to talk to me about? At the same time, I like your speech, but you confused me at the beginning because you started to give us an icebreaker, introducing yourself, that you were born in Altamont Springs, and you were raised here, and you became an Eagle Scout, and then you actually went into the rest of the story, which was your real story. So you had me a little confused there at first, but then I finally caught up with what you were trying to do. You made the story exciting by the description that you gave. You really did a good job in telling us about the river draft. You gave us some technical parts on how to paddle so that you don't turn the boat sideways. And you also gave us a really exciting part about Andrew falling off the raft and you becoming Superman and pulling him out. Now you have something to worry about. But now we're going to also know you as the Riverman, Mr. General Evaluator.
Our next evaluator, I'm sure, is very eager to be getting up here because if she takes too long, she's going to find herself in a situation that I've assigned her stuff that she's not ready for. Because I had nothing more to say. Here evaluating Pardeep General speech, please welcome Sarah.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, our guests, and Pardeep. Or should I say Dr. Pardeep? Starting off with a fantastic story about frogs. I liked how passionate and how much you care about health issues and topics. They come up on a weekly basis. They're very, very informative. The story at the beginning, I thought, I'd never heard of it, and I liked the way that you put some mystery into what's going to happen. Because we're all wondering, what is this silent killer? The intro was fantastic. The story about the frogs, the pesticide, what's killing the frogs, it made me, and I'm sure others, keep listening. What is this silent killer? And then it's revealed. It's stress. The flow and organization was good. You had all the consequences, all the bad things that scare us now that we all experience stress. But then the organization went through, what do you do about it? And what's the antidote to make us not have some of the causes of death, like frogs? So very good, very relevant. We all experience stress, much like me up here in the University of Toastmasters. So we can all relate to our stressful moments. A couple of recommendations that I would like to give. This was noted previously in a different speech about the pacing. So take notes on managing how to move around the room. As you came back, you didn't turn around, but you walked back, and maybe to use the notes. I didn't think you needed them. I don't remember you looking at them as often. Maybe practice giving your talk in front without any movement. Well, you can use gestures and everything, but not as much walking. Another part was the list of all the things that we could do to manage our stress. The exercise, meditation, laughing. The list was a lot, even though you're going to share a couple. Possibly a handout that you could have put in front of us midway. I thought you could have spent more time. Maybe the field I work in, I hear these words so often. They're just exercise, meditation, they're buzzwords that we know, but we need to go deeper into finding more about those subjects. So that's one recommendation. And to wrap up the talk, I didn't write notes on the conclusion, so maybe that wasn't as memorable, but I thought to bring back the frog story, as we always like some connectivity in speeches, and frogs don't have the abilities like humans, so maybe referencing the fact that these frogs clearly cannot manage that stressor, but we have different levels of thinking and we can. So that would be an idea to bring that back so we're motivated of, I can control this. So that would be a recommendation. But a great topic and good flow overall. I love your passion once again. Dr. Superhero Pardeep, as I'll call you, rescuing us again from our health ailments. I will look forward to more tips in the upcoming week. So thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Madam Timer, and we have timer report for our evaluator.
Charlie Bombalier spoke for 2 minutes and 53 seconds, he qualifies, and Sarah Hunt spoke for 3 minutes and 22 seconds, she qualifies.
Thank you. All right. Our vote counter is going to come around and get your vote for best evaluator. In the meantime, our odd counter will give us her counts. Yes, again.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
All right, I had a lot of fun today, and hopefully I earned us a little bit of money. Charlie, you had one double clutch, and it was actually in the very beginning, you had nothing during your evaluation, which was actually really impressive, so just one. Jay Majors, I had 6 ahs and ums, and 1 like in or so. Susan Morgan, I had 2 ahs and ums, 1 like and so, and 12 double clutches. Woohoo! You have the same issue that I do, is when I read is when I tend to double clutch. So the opportunity to practice what you're reading really can make a difference, so something to consider. I do the same thing. Toni Giddles, I only had 2 ahs and ums. Matthew, I didn't buzz you, Matthew, because this was your first speech in our club, even though technically it wasn't your icebreaker. But I probably would have disturbed us a lot because you had 37 ahs and ums and 2 double clutches for a total of 39. You tend to ah and at the end of sentences, which is an unusual thing, so hopefully you can watch yourself and be able to see how that works and take care of that. Let's see, Pardeep, I had 1 ah and 1 double clutch. Gail, I just had 1 double clutch. Myself, I had 2 ands and so's and probably several in this report. Michann, our guest, you only had 1 double clutch. That was very impressive. And Stephen Morgan, you had 0, and Sarah, you had 0. Well done.
I am grammarian, and then for my report as grammarian, with the word of the day neologism, interesting uses and choices of use in here. Used correctly by Jessica, Matthew, Susan, Gail. Mispronounced by Toni, but it seemed to be appropriate. Charlie just said the word, he didn't use it. And Jay used it incorrectly. That might be a neologism to you as well, referring to use a
Trying to stay in time.
Trying to stay in time. That would it may be a new concept, but it's not a new word, so it would be a neologism. For the uses of the English language, Susan, you ended your great opening at the beginning of the meeting there with things you can do with our Toastmaster stuff. Things and stuff in the same sentence.
Things and stuff.
2 words that you need to find better substitutes for.
Yes, sir.
Matthew, some of my most memorable camping trips should be were, because plural. Super sane as a neologism. That's one we're going to have to keep using, and I think that'll be your title for a few months at the very least. Pardeep, the frogs don't live in lab, they live in the wild. It's a much smoother parallel would have had the use of the frogs don't live in the lab, they live in the wild. That would have been smoother to the ear and sounded better that way. But on the other hand, we have boom, you've got a dead frog. Susan gave us speeches again, or I guess I prompted that one early on. And someone low on funds and quadruple.
I didn't say quadruple. You saved my life.
Gail, when we have a large membership, we have a large club. That is called a truism. Self-evidently true by definition. But thanks for the example.
Sure.
You also had suggestions to booster that participation and attendance. Booster is a noun. Boost is the verb, to boost, which you gave that question to Jessica and she immediately shifted it to the verb form. I also caught from Michann, you were mentioning about that would have a longer shelf life. You had just been talking about the flyers and how they just wanted to be thrown away at that point. I don't think the flyers were the ones you meant having a long shelf life at that point, but since that's what you had just been talking about, that's what it sounded like what you meant. I think you meant Facebook. That's the danger of pronouns. When you use a pronoun, it's going to be in our heads what you most recently said is whatever that pronoun is supposed to refer to, or at least the most appropriate close reference. But welcome back. A new beginner, that is kind of redundant, very, very informative and To bring us all the way back, Sarah had to give us death-like frogs. And that's what I have as General Evaluator. General Evaluator, I'm supposed to be evaluating the meeting in general, the evaluators in particular, the evaluations, for the feedback on the evaluations. Charlie, good information, feedback there. You started off with some good positive statements there. Then you got very heavy on the bad parts. Though you were playing it up as humor, I should point out, maybe not have been Matthew's icebreaker per se. It was still just his second speech and his first one here. Liven it up. Because we want him to get up and do it again. And there's a lot of potential in there, yes. For Sarah's, you had excellent points with feedbacks and examples and suggestions to work forward from. Put in positive one before your conclusion, please. You keep going straight from suggestions to conclusion. You want to end up. For the meeting in general, table topics, good combination and well paced within those. Although when you were asking about where we were within time, it was 7:54 when you asked, and the agenda said we should have been stopping by 7:51. So feedback, need to work on our feedback mechanisms. Working from the agenda there. The agenda corrections were handled well. The information coming in between was fine. Everyone hit their time marks. That was nice to see.
Yes.
And I believe that covers the feedback I have for General Evaluator. Therefore, at this point, take out the last ballot to cast for most improved, and it goes on to our president for final round of business.
Good evening again, everyone. Yes.
Yeah, if there are any more votes for most improved?
That's what I just asked you.
Oh, we didn't.
Seriously?
Are there any more votes?
Oh, I'll pick one out here.
Yeah, what's in there? All right. My secret formula. Yeah, frog juice.
Deadline frogs, there we go. Boom.
All right, while she's gathering those up, let's find out what we're doing in the next couple of weeks. Gail? What happened to the...
It passed it back. It got there.
Oh, okay.
Next week, we have a Toastmaster.
All right.
Yeah. Is moi.
Yay.
Theme, your voice, your vote. I know. Should be exciting. We have 3 speakers. Pardeep, Toni, Stephen. All good? Yeah. Okay. Table topic master, Renee Taylor. We do need a general evaluator, but we do have 3 evaluators. Charlie, Jonathan, Jay. All good, Charlie, Jay? Okay. We do need a supervisor of elections, an odd counter. Julian is our grammarian timer. Susan. Any supervisor of election, odd counter, general evaluator? Going once? Okay. Twice? Gone. All right, thank you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Last week, who won Tim Chastain and I did. You did? I think on it. You did? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, thank you. Stay up till 2 a.m. Thank you. I will refer to that. Thank you. All right, thanks, guys.
Very good. Do we have any announcements that, okay, Jessica?
I have a few. Well, some are kind of interesting. Just as an FYI, the those that have been to the club for a very long time will remember some of our former members. I saw 2 former members by complete fluke this week. Donna Hall.
Wow.
And Donna is still very involved with the Orlando Ballet, which is where I ran into her, and she is strongly promoting Toastmasters to the members of the Orlando Ballet who are having to take part of speaking engagements. So hopefully we will see some folks come in from the Orlando Ballet, which would be really interesting.
Body language.
Yeah, right. Gestures. And then I ran into Sandra Blasi just last night at a CFC Arts event, and she's doing really well. I see her daughter quite a lot, and she's not interested in coming back to Toastmasters, but she said to say hi to everybody, and she misses everybody, so that was really nice. So I just thought I'd share that. Second thing, I had a quick question for Gail, which is, on the form there, it says the banquet is June 21st, is that right, or is it June 28th?
June 21st.
The 21st?
Is what the EC decided.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because it's not the last one. You typically it's the last one, so I just wanted to verify.
Certainly, we can change that, but that was discussed,
Okay.
the 21st, but if we want
I'll
the
make a request
28th.
that hopefully we can change it, because I can't be here on the 21st, so that's just my own, but it's not about me, so you know, why not?
That's right, we won't be here.
For the 21st?
Yeah.
Okay, let's change it.
Okay, well, I brought the change.
All those in favor?
I move, we change it. The banquet to June 28th. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Great, love it.
Okay, so the
The chair
28th.
can usurp.
I know, I just get it done.
And then lastly, I and Toni probably has the same request, and supporting a few new clubs that we're trying to start in the area. And I have a demo meeting that I'm going to be putting together for a company that's in Maitland Concourse, and they're going to be doing it Tuesday at lunchtime next week, Tuesday at noon. So if anybody is available who could take a very, we do a very short meeting basically to kind of show what a demo, not kind of, but to show them what a Toastmaster meeting typically looks like. If anybody is available and can participate, it's a little harder because it's in the middle of the day, so if people have availability and we can help out, that would be great. And if it's okay with you guys, I'll probably borrow the timing lights and a few little items in order to get that going. And do you have the same request for Wednesday? Oh, you're still far off, right?
Yeah, probably June 7th, but it will probably, it's a Wednesday. It's not set in stone yet, but that was been the suggested date, and it is a new meeting. It's in Maitland. Yeah, so in Maitland. So mine's this coming Tuesday, so mine's a lot more important than Toni. And we're also looking for sponsors and mentors, so if that's
Ditto.
something you would like to be a part of.
Yeah, ditto.
Check in with them.
Terrific, thank you, thanks, I appreciate your time.
I think it's time to move it. Gail?
One last quick request. Did anybody bring anything for the 2 baskets? Sport oriented or spa oriented? Either last week or this week? I haven't looked in the storage room to see if anybody brought something last week when I was gone. I'll look. Okay, thanks.
All right, let's get to the good part here. Time for some awards. The first award is our club award, and it is named after one of our founding members, Tim Chastain. And it is awarded to a person who has really done a lot of work, gone above and beyond, etc. And when I tell you who I've chosen this week, I think you'll understand. This person has really put a lot of work and effort into the first few months that he has been here to help push our club and help push us to meet some of our distinguished awards, at the same time bringing himself to a much better place and much improved as well. The Tim Chastain Award goes to Pardeep Jensen. Our most improved award tonight, and I am so wholeheartedly enthusiastic about this, as I always say, I want to see the new people step out right away and get moving. And he stepped up and he did a speech, just a few weeks after joining. Matthew Salazar, congratulations. Best Table Topics Award tonight goes to Stephen Morgan. Our Best Evaluator Award, Sarah Hunt. And finally, our Best Speaker, Pardeep Jindal. That is all we have tonight, so the meeting is now adjourned.